Captain Mikey here, coming to you from beautiful North Florida. Well, guys, it is a gorgeous spring day here in Florida, but it's hot. It's about 85 degrees. I know the rest of you guys still in the rest of the country don't really want to hear that, but that's the truth. That's what it is. But hey, I feel your pain, guys. I understand what it's like to be stuck up in the winter up north, getting that cabin fever going. Just can't wait to get out on that water and start fishing. I know that because that's where I'm from. I'm originally from Ontario, Canada, and majority of my fishing and learning experience came from up north. I wasn't always down here in Florida. I grew up fishing on Lake Erie. Lake Erie, what a wonderful place. One of the best smallmouth fisheries there is. The majority of my knowledge and education came from Lake Erie and fishing smallmouth bass and a fish known as the walleye. I used to catch a ton of walleye up there. You know, over the years, I'm always learning. I'm always trying to learn new techniques. But styles and techniques down here are definitely different than what you would witness up north. Now, a walleye is not a largemouth bass. They are totally different creatures. Walleye are schooling fish. They tend to like colder, deeper water. They like structure like rocks and hard bottom. Not so much like a largemouth, which is typically shallow water species. They don't school up as often, and they like to be buried in heavy vegetation and cover like that. That's not typically where you will find walleye. And we use some very specific techniques up there. I wonder if some of these northern techniques that I used on Lake Erie for walleye, do you think I can catch bass with those? Largemouth bass with northern walleye lures? The Erie Dearie, the bottom bouncers, worm crawler harnesses, Wally diver. That was an excellent crankbait. You think if I grab myself some Erie Dearies, some bottom bouncers, some Wally divers, some crawler harnesses, things like that I would use for walleye up on Lake Erie way up north? You think I can catch largemouth bass way down south with them? That sounds like a challenge to me.
Guys, grab one. Oh, yeah! Another one. We got one. Yeah! Oh, I'm loving it, guys. This is just so awesome. We are nailing largemouth bass in Florida on lures I learned to use in Canada.
Yeah. So what I did, guys, I went out and ordered every lure that I remember using up on Lake Erie and Detroit River, Lake St. Clair, those areas for walleye. Dude, don't get me wrong, I caught a lot of smallmouth bass on some of these, so I do have an idea that they definitely should work. They do have to be fished a little bit differently, though. These are typically deeper water lures, usually done with trolling or fast drifting. One of the most popular crankbaits when you're trolling for walleye on Lake Erie, especially in the deeper waters, great vibration, great action to it, great sound, really cool looking lure, and it matches the hatch perfectly. The Wally diver. A Wally diver, it can get down deep. It depends on how much line you put out, what weight of line, what kind of line you're doing, and of course your speed out there. But you can get a wally diver to dive over 20 feet deep if you're going at a decent enough speed and you got the right line, things like that. So it's gonna be a challenge to use a wally diver for bass. Even though it is a crankbait, I gotta find water that's deep enough that might hold bass that I can still use a wally diver. I went to Cabela's online and I checked it out in a search, and I got me one. There it is. That's your wally diver. That's the first lure I'm gonna test out in the northern lures for southern bass. I'm hoping to find some deep enough water that I can toss this around and hopefully pick up a bass, if I find any deep. That's challenge number one, the wally diver. I could not do the northern lure challenge for bass down south without the one, the only, the famous Erie Dearie. The Erie Dearie, That's right. That's it right there. It's a weight forward inline spinner. The weight's in front of the spinner. These are really unique. We use these as a countdown lure. That's right, it's a countdown lure. When you throw that out, counting 1 second per foot of how lead you want. So if you're going along and you're marking fish in 20 feet of water, by counting down 20 seconds, that's going to sink down to that 20-foot length, and then you're going to drift it from there or troll it from there. Slow troll. That's your Erie Dearie. That's right. It's a weight forward spinner. The weighted part of it kind of got that fish-shaped head to it. They always have that one blade followed by 3 little beads there, and then a long, straight shanked hook. Look at the size of the eye on the hook. That allows that thing to go side to side, wobble, wobble all the which way. This isn't one solid piece. This is actually 3 pieces. The hook, the body, the long strip of wire right there. That as well can also move around. So this thing can have some pretty fantastic action. Typically up north, we would add a night crawler or an earthworm or a minnow to the back to the hook here. Now, being down south, this is going to be a unique challenge, but I'm going to use this a lot more like I would use a typical spinner bait down here. Of course, I'm going to toss it closer to cover and work it from there. I'm thinking I'm going to tip this with some kind of a curly tail worm, maybe even a small paddle tail swim bait. I'm not sure. We're going to try out a few different things, see what kind of action it has. But that's challenge number 2. That's the Erie Dearie. Woo! I'm fairly confident in those first 2 lures that I should be able to catch something on those. But this third one, this is going to be the true challenge. This is going to be a very, very tough one. This is an incredibly unique lure that I have never seen anywhere else but up north. Up north, it's mostly hard bottom, sandy bottom, and rocks. Not a lot of vegetation. A lot of those walleye are suspended just above the bottom. And with all those rocks and stuff, it's easy to snag up just about anything bouncing along. Having something that would stay just off the bottom is actually pretty important. They came up with a concept called bottom bouncing. What's a bottom bouncer? That's a bottom bouncer. That's right. It's a heavy, stout piece of wire with a heavy weight right in the middle of it, about a foot in length. You can get them at all sorts of different lengths, with an arm that comes off, and on the end of that arm is a snap swivel. Usually, bottom bouncers, they attach crawler harnesses or worm harnesses. A long piece of leader with a small spinner blade on it, a bunch of beads, and a hook. And on that you would put your large night crawler or whatever kind of bait you wanted to do. But the idea behind this bottom bouncer is it's going to skip across the bottom, keeping that bait about a foot off the bottom. But also as it bounces along, because the wire extends through the weight, it bounces and gives it a real nice action, which is going to get that crawler harness flapping up and down and moving, giving it a bunch of action, not just the little blade spinning. This is like the original drop shot right here, but I'm made out of wire. The problem I'm going to really have with this is, one, I need to find fish, bass that are out in deeper water that are on the bottom, because anything shallower here is going to have a ton of vegetation. Up to about 13 feet, I've got tons of vegetation on the bottom of this lake. This is not going to work. This is going to drag right through it. So I got to find hard bottom in deep water where no vegetation is really grown, that I can bounce this along and hopefully there's fish there. That is going to be an extreme challenge. It's going to be tough, but I'm up for it. If we can get this done, that is absolutely amazing. I'm going to do it just like we did at home. Crawler harnesses. Just like that. I'm going to try to use artificials here, so I'm going to try to attach like a nice lengthy worm to it. Or I may just do it kind of like a drop shot with a smaller, more finesse lure. But that is essentially what I'm going to do. Bottom bouncers with crawler harnesses. I must be crazy. Stay tuned, folks. This is going to be a wild one.
I can't tell. Hey, they got a bunch. I think I got a fish and bottom. Oh, I do. I do. Check it out. Oh. I'm trolling along with this Wally diver, and I snagged this fish right at the top of the head. And he must have dove me into that grass. I have never caught a fish there before. But hey, the Wally diver caught a fish. We got a bass on the northern walleye lure. Woohoo! There's the first fish on the northern walleye lures. The Wally diver got us a little bass. Well, at least I know about how deep I'm running. At that speed, I was running about 14 feet deep. I'm just kind of going along right now
and I'm running about 2.9 miles an hour. Right now I'm in 21 feet of water. Maybe bump it up a little bit, get that to dive just a touch deeper. The Wally diver, the more line you got out and the faster you go, the deeper it can go. You got plenty of line out there and you're going fast enough, it'll dive over 20 feet. So we're gonna stick around 3 miles an hour. We're gonna try. And I got a lot of line out there, so I should be diving roughly around 16 feet or so, I'm gonna say. Marking fish right on the bottom in about 22, 23 feet of water. Really nice structure on the bottom and about 18, 19 feet of water out here. Really cool. Found a really nice little spot. And this is it, man. This is how I fish a walleye diver back home on Lake Erie. We would just troll it along, try to find the depth that we were finding the fish at, and then try to figure out how to adjust the speed and the length of the line and everything to keep that walleye diver right in that depth. It's a better fish. This feels like a decent fish too. Oh yeah! We got one! Yeah! Trolling with the walleye divers! Got that one. I have to check. That was about 18 feet of water, 20 feet of water. Yeah, bring them in. Check it out, guys. We are nailing largemouth bass in Florida on lures I learned to use in Canada on Lake Erie. Check it out. Awesome, awesome, awesome. The walleye diver got us another one. This is so much fun. So much fun. All right, got another one. It just feels like a small one though. It's right over this point that I keep marking. Every time I cross over that point, I get one. It's the smaller guy. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Yes. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. There it is. Number 3 on the walleye diver. Oh, we got another one. Got another one. Staying down. There he is. No, just a small guy. Really small guy, that's what it was. He was deep, man. This guy was real deep. There we go. Well, there we go. Just a little guy, and he pooped himself. Scared the poop right out of you, didn't you? Oh, you pooped all over my steering wheel, bud. Oh, wow. Thanks for it, everything. There you go. Walleye diver. This thing has proven it's gotten us 4 fish. We haven't got anything giant yet. I got poop on my hand, but it has worked. This northern walleye lure, fishing it the traditional way I would there, is working. Trolling the walleye diver has caught us 4 bass so far. Had a better hit anyway. Oh, I lost them. Oh, that sucks. It was a good hit too. What the hell? Oh my God, there's a fish on. Are you kidding? I just threw that back out and started trolling and something hit it. Oh, look at that. I had no idea. I was literally just about to start trolling. And I'm like, wait, what the heck is going on? This fish hit it like at the surface in 21 feet of water. Wow, check that out. Bunch of little guys, but this is so much fun. Oh, hey. Here's another one. It's time to move on. I'm gonna go and try that bottom bouncer. Now that I've marked out a couple areas here in the deeper water where we have caught some fish, let's see if we can get some off the bottom on the bottom bouncer. Killer! Awesome! Now that I've gone around this deep hole many times, I marked it out on my graph here. I know where I've caught fish, where fish have been. It does seem as if there's a couple places where it's harder bottom, where this might actually work. This is the worm harness. I'm gonna go with the blue and the red right now. The blue, silver, and red. Kind of like a shad, bleeding shad color, I guess. This harness, when it came out of the package, was at least 6 feet long. I shortened it down to about, it's about 4 feet now, I guess. It does have 2 hooks on it. The other end, it's got a little swivel. Of course, the bottom bouncer has a snap swivel as well, but this thing is gonna spin around a lot, so you don't want a ton of line twist. So there it is. There's your bottom bouncer that's going to drag along the bottom.
to about 4 feet of crawler harness, and on the end of the crawler harness is 2 hooks. And up north, we would actually take a night crawler and thread it across these 2 hooks. So I'm gonna basically do the same thing, but I'm gonna do it with a rubber worm. And basically, I'm going to try to hook it so it's roughly gonna be weedless. So we got 2 hooks on there. It should still have a real natural play to it. And let's see. It looks pretty attractive. I'm just gonna drop it straight down, or I know it hits the bottom once that line goes slack. I'm in about 20 feet of water here right now. I am on the bottom, and I'm just gonna drift. It's dragging across the bottom. And we're just gonna sit here, and we're gonna drift. You're gonna let that bottom bouncer do its thing. Just kind of drag across the bottom, hopefully bounce, as we drift across. We got weed on the bottom bouncer and tons of weed on the hook. Nothing has even tapped it. I knew this one was gonna be tough, but man, I've been at this drifting with this bottom bouncer and these worms on this crawler harness. I've been doing it for a while. Let's put on something a little more subtle. I'm gonna try this trick worm here. A little bit more finesse. Let's see if this can trigger us a bite. I never thought I would see the day I'm in Florida on a crystal clear bass lake with a bottom bouncer and a crawler harness. Absolutely crazy. Wait, I got one. Guys, I got one. Oh, I don't think he's that big, but yes, there he is. Woo. Yeah, just a little guy, but oh, geez, I hooked you bad. I'm so, yeah. Oh my God, I don't care. I don't care that he's tiny. It's been like 2 hours, at least 2 hours of drifting here. Oh yeah, he hit the bottom bouncer. Look at this little guy. Oh, there it is on the bottom bouncer. Oh, thank you, man, guys. I guess that was the trick, switching to something a little more finesse, like this trick worm here. Oh, I don't care. It was tiny fish, but I caught it on a bottom bouncer and a crawler harness that I used to use on Lake Erie for walleye. That is pretty flippin' awesome, guys. It's kind of wacky rig down there. I wonder what that'll do. 2.5 hours I've been drifting back and forth with this bottom bouncer. I got a wacky rig now, guys. That's good. I wonder if that'll do. Maybe that'll work. Wacky rig on a bottom bouncer in 20-something feet of water. That's pretty insane. I think I might have just had a bite there. Right there again. Wait. Oh, dead. No, that's a fish, guys. We got another one. I got one. Hey, the wacky rig. Just another tiny one. I keep catching these little guys. Just the little ones. Woo! Check it out. He took the wacky rig style trick worm. Oh my God, he's so tiny. Look how cute you are. Little dude. Thank you so much for taking my wacky rig. Bottom bouncer. All right, be free, my friend. Woo! I didn't catch anything big. I don't care. That is a challenge complete on that. That is awesome. Let's go do the Erie Dearie, guys. That's all that's really left. Probably got about an hour left of sun. Let's go see if we can't get one on that. It's go time. I left the best for last. Oh, I like that. That looks good. We got our Erie Dearie. I'm going with the white with the silver blade, or the pearl silver blade. I put on a KastKing swinging impact paddle tail swim bait on here. And I think this is just going to be an absolute killer thing here. And I really think this is going to work. All we got to do is catch one. This has been so much fun. It's bringing back so many memories of my past. It reminds me of the simple days I spent with my father out on Lake Erie and Lake St. Clair, fishing for walleye and smallmouth. That's where it all started, guys. I haven't caught anything good yet, but I'm having a lot of fun. You know what? It's been quite a challenge. Yeah, we got one. Woo! Yeah, the Erie Dearie got me a bass. Woo! Yeah, buddy. Woo! Brian, oh yeah! Woo! There it is, guys. Challenge complete. The Northern Walleye Lures can catch bass in Florida. Yeah! That is awesome. That is awesome right there. Look at that. My Erie Dearie caught me a bass. Yes! It's been a long day, but what a day. What a fantastic day. Oh, I've had so much fun out here today. These are the lures I grew up using, and there's a ton of you guys up north that still use them every day. They work great up there. They're designed for those waters up north. But there's something about a good lure that no matter what, it produces. I urge you guys to do that. Take on a challenge, something like that. But if you remember a lure from back in the day that your old man used to use, or that your grandfather used to use, that he always swore by, or that's just something that they used to use back home, and you haven't used it in forever, get yourself one. Find one. And not only do they still work, but they're gonna bring back a whole lot of great memories too. I just brought back a ton of them back to my roots, to where I first started, and I had a blast doing it. I can't tell you how good this felt. There it is. There it is. We got another one. Yeah. Woo! Erie Dearie strikes again. Look at that. Erie Dearie right in the corner of the mouth. Fantastic. There he is. There it is on the Erie Dearie. Woo! Gotta love it, guys. Gotta love it. Oh, man. What a day. What a day. Thank you, buddy. Guys, if you have any old lures from your past or old techniques that you guys use up north or on remote lakes, a specific technique that you don't think they use anywhere else, let me know. You want to see me try it? I'll try it. If it's a technique for muskie, if it's a technique for lake trout, if it's a technique for catfish or carp, it really doesn't matter. If you think that I might be able to make it work on bass, let me know. And of course, guys, I got to give a great big shout out and thank you to my patrons, Michael Rice and Stephen Hyde. These guys are awesome guys. They're helping support SawGrassBassin to ensure that we can keep doing these videos into the future here. Thank you very much, Michael Rice and Stephen Hyde. And if you guys want to become a patron yourself, or even just to find out what a patron really is and what are all the advantages and perks of becoming a patron of SawGrassBassin, check out my Patreon page. I'll leave the link down in the description, www.patreon.com/SawGrassBassin. And you'll become a part of the SawGrassBassin family, helping to create these videos yourself. Oh, I'm on. Yeah! Woo! This is awesome. This is a nice one too. Woo! Best one today. Woo! He hammered that as soon as that hit the water. Wow, look at that. Look at that, guys. Oh my God, I love this. The North Lures kicking butt in the South. Woo! Awesome. Yes. Just crushing them with this Erie Dearie. Crushing them. Oh, man. Well, guys, I really hope you did enjoy this, and I hope you learned a little something. If you did, make sure you smash the heck out of that like button. And leave a comment for me on anything else you'd like to see me film out here, and I'll do my very best to make a video out of each and every one of those. But most importantly, guys, subscribe to that channel. And if you're already subscribed, well, stay subscribed, because there's plenty more coming in SawGrassBassin's future.
Well, folks, when it came to this week's question, unfortunately, nobody actually guessed correctly. Nobody gave the exact answer that I was actually looking for. I was really hoping somebody would have come out and said bottom bouncer or crawler harness or even an Erie Dearie. I would have even taken a walleye spinner. To give credit where credit's due, the closest one and the first one to get closest, Frankie B. That's right, Frankie B, you guessed inline spinner, and technically the Erie Dearie is an inline spinner. I was really hoping to get the name Erie Dearie. But hey, you got pretty close, so there you go. Congratulations, Frankie B, for answering this week's question correctly. Don't forget, guys, if you want to get your name shouted out in the next video, make sure you pay attention to my posts on the community page here on YouTube. Each week, a few days before I release the next video, I'll post a question, and the first person to answer that question correctly will get your name shouted out in that video. If you're not seeing those posts, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you click that little bell next to the subscribe button. That'll make sure you get the notifications of when I do post those questions. Well, that's it for this week. One last time from beautiful North Florida, I'm smashing southern bass with northern walleye lures. It's Captain Mikey signing out. The future is bright. You keep those lines tight.